So I'm actually excited to kind of see some of these things. I know you've been sending me some of the screenshots that
I
you
figured
found,
you hadn't been able to look through all of them yet.
but I haven't. Like, there's some even I saw when we were setting all this up that I haven't seen yet. So I'm excited to look at them.
Listen, it is like entertaining.
Well,
It's-
just the ones I've seen were entertaining.
It's wild to like think about. I don't know. Like I mean, from 2020, it's been a whirlwind. From 2018, it has. But
Well, and it feels like so long ago, but then you look back and you're like, I don't know. It's so the time is so weird.
it feels like so long ago, and then it also is like the snap of a finger, and then I think the thing that gets me is everything that's happened in between is wild.
There's so many small details that in the moment felt either so important or some that felt not important at all. And then when you look back, it's the opposite.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that is so true.
A lot of this stuff, it just felt like it was.
Well, and then some of the screenshots you sent me, even I was reading it and I was like, I can't believe we were actually having a conversation about this.
Can't believe
like,
that was
like
an issue.
trying to solve this issue.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, we were a CrossFit gym. So the Origin Story, BPG, do you want to take it? So just start at the beginning and.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll give a brief background for Josh and I as we start here because that's relevant. But we came over to Foundation Academy. That was the gym at the time that we have now turned into BPG. It was originally Foundation Academy. It already existed. We had a friend who was part owner at the time, and they were looking for trainers to come over and help with the gym. And Josh and I took the opportunity to come over and be trainers at Foundation Academy. At the time, it was not technically a CrossFit gym. It was strength and conditioning, but it was essentially a CrossFit gym, I would say.
They were doing CrossFit workouts.
Yeah. And to be fair, so were we at the time.
Correct.
So
That's why we came.
Yeah. So we came over. When we came over, that friend of ours was moving. So she was passing off ownership to someone else. So at that time, there was that person taking over and then another person that was owned. There were two owners. One was behind the scene. One was in the business, essentially. Which is kind of relevant for how we take over eventually.
Just to reference those. Yeah. And over that first year, we were helping them all kind of build out systems and things here. And then
We brought a lot of our friends came with us.
a lot of our friends.
Yeah.
That's like an interesting thing is that whenever someone changes like a gym, you don't really have a lot of people that follow. You may think that you would, but you don't. But I mean, we had a good amount of friends that came with us.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. In that next year is whenever that partner that just took over, he got, I think, a promotion, and then you and I purchased his shares to become 50-50 with the other partner.
Yes. Yeah. We just slowly integrated ourselves into the gym. I mean, it was just stuff that was like, they needed help mopping the floors and they need help doing this and we need help doing this. It was things that we weren't getting paid for, but we were just so passionate about it and we wanted a great place to work out. We wanted our friends to have a great place to work out. So we just came and did whatever we needed to do to help run the business.
And that was clearly the motive then. At that time, the motive was, and I'm pretty sure I said this, we want to keep this place going so that we can have an awesome place to work out and an awesome place for our friends to work out. And by workout, I mean do CrossFit.
So when you all came over here, you had no intention of like owning the gym at some point? Like when you
Not
first
at all.
came in here and walked in the
Not
door?
at all.
No, I feel like you and I were together and we would make these little comments of, it would be so cool if we just owned our own gym one day. But it was very much so a distant dream, probably never going to happen, but this would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
it was just dreaming.
Yeah.
But whenever we came here, no, not at all.
Actually, we missed something. So we missed when we came over here, they actually did affiliate with CrossFit
That
For-
was during
for a small amount of time.
between 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, yeah,
That second year of business here.
yeah. And then when we took over, we kind of were like, okay, we're gonna disaffiliate. There's no point in that.
And do you feel like you should explain affiliate versus disaffiliate?
So
What that
like
means?
a CrossFit affiliate is you're allowed to use the word CrossFit in your branding. And if you're not affiliated, then they can send you a cease and desist or take other legal action if you use the word CrossFit in your website or post or
Not to get too controversial, but it's kind of the way people use the word High Rocks now.
it is. It's, you know, you have a High Rocks Club, but you can do a High Rocks Club without saying we're a High Rocks Club.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like the license model can kind of be interesting. Anyways, so we take over. Still, intention at the time is CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we sign ownership, that was 2019, so 2020 starts. We're still in the CrossFit. Abbey is working out here at that time. COVID hits, which is great timing to become a partner in a business, a gym that closes down. So we closed down. I had text messages to Abbey that were right around that time. Abbey's first day was like basically when we were closed. And during that time, we just like loaned out equipment.
Yeah.
Our members, essentially the thing was, if you continue paying your monthly membership, if you need to pause, we will do that. If you continue paying, we'll loan out these pieces of equipment. You can come pick those up. So the gym was completely empty. You probably remember it was
I do.
completely empty. There was like no equipment here. All of our members took it. And then there were some people that their job was like paused. So they had financial uncertainty, but they wanted to still be a member. And I think for some of those people, we still loan them equipment.
Yeah, I think we had a few varied rate options.
Yes. And we got all of our equipment back.
Mm-hmm.
Great community, great people. We got all of our equipment back. During that time, I think that was whenever we really started looking at what are we doing? What is it? That's whenever we started, because you started, and we just started talking about what is health.
Mm-hmm.
What is health? What is health? And that was the thing. So over that year, we have these discussions, but we don't change a ton, but we are having these discussions. And then
I believe that, side note, I'm just looking at this timeline thinking, that was the year that I was really ramping up. I started the women's program, which was Thrive at the time.
that was 2020.
I believe that was 2020, maybe even a little bit in 2019.
The purple shirts were the first one, right? Purple Thrive shirts.
I believe so. And I remember starting that program. I saw a need for it, but it was also a bit of that, like CrossFit was too much for a lot of people. And so that was when that started to integrate. And that becomes relevant as we go throughout that year, because later throughout that year is when we start having the fit class and the Thrive class, and they're happening side by side. And eventually it got to where Thrive was sometimes bigger than the other class.
It was. I feel like at a certain point, the nights that we had Thrive, because I don't think Thrive was every night. The nights that we had Thrive, there were more people in Thrive than Fit. And that was a women's only class. So it was like, okay, that's interesting. And unfortunately, we had a couple of nights that were schedule constraints. So we had a Fit and Thrive class together and essentially did the Thrive workout, just no high skill movements, and those were really successful. And I think that's whenever we started saying, okay, this is interesting.
I also remember having the conversations of how do we bridge the gap between the fit and the thrive
Yes.
classes,
Yes.
because there was like an obvious gap
Yes.
between them.
And that ties into our whole what is health? What are we doing this for? What does class need to look like so that it gears us more towards health and longevity rather than competition or.
Well, then it was hard to have members come up to you and hear them say, oh, my shoulder hurts, or like, oh, this hurts. And like, that outside they're not focusing on their sleep, or, how could we manage the volume of classes, the load on their system to help with recovery. And we were just tying those things into what is health.
Yeah. And we got really unhappy
Yeah.
too. We were all so enthusiastic about fitness, but we were so unsatisfied with the product we were marketing.
Injuries were more prevalent than I realized, especially as I talked to Michaela and the PT, the physical therapy stuff that we're doing here and working on growing her. We had way more people injured during that time than we do now. And I think that's kind of like a gym thing, a CrossFit, or not CrossFit. It's a gym thing. It's a group fitness thing. And I'm really happy with what we have because we don't have a ton of injuries. A majority of our injuries are not that we do have in here. I would argue a majority of them are not overuse issues. I don't think. So just to get back on track, so we had January. So we went through the end of 2020, and then January 2021, we changed the name to Foundation Fitness. And that winter of 2020, so December and January 2021, that's whenever we purchased the other 50%. So you and I became 100% owners. And another thing that's interesting during that time was we were also looking for a building during that time.
Yeah.
Which I did not realize. I told Rachel this. We were trying to close out the ownership, purchase the shares from our partner, and looking at these buildings very aggressively. And I was way more stressed than I ever realized. Like once I looked back at all the text messages and things, I was having like a drink of like whiskey like every night just to take the edge off, and that's not me. I mean, I don't.
No.
And I was doing that every night, and it was like it was normal, and I did not realize how stressed I actually was during that time trying to do all of this. And I just going through those messages, I was like, that's why I was probably so intense during that moment.
But it's also just a testament of how unsettled we felt. Like I look at this timeline because right now is when we really start to develop a brand, 2021 to 2022. But we were so unsettled. So unsettled.
The first staff market research trip was after we changed our name, we went to Charlotte. That was awesome. We had seen it. We had been sending you a bunch. Maybe you had taken a trip and looked at some stuff. And
I'd kind of been in that a little bit because I come from group fitness.
Yes.
Anyways.
Different types of group fitness.
Yes.
So we were talking about it, and during that time, looking at buildings, took over ownership, and we were doing all these mocks of the gym floor, the layout, all of that. We had the Come to Jesus, which was the square foot per person thing that we did. That was like a presentation that Rachel told me not to name Come to Jesus, but we named it Come to Jesus because that's what it was. It was the reality of what we were doing was not going to allow us to create careers, which was the goal. And so we went through these models. So we laid out the floor. And then this one's really interesting. I had wrote down right here, this says stay moving equals 1 minute ? And I remember I wrote it really, really small and super messy to where only I could read it on purpose because I thought it was like, I don't want anybody to make fun of me. Like, this is just an idea that I have. I'm just going to write this down. And that's what that was. And then this was the first template that we did. We had the brief. It was a 2-minute brief. And then we had the prep, 8 minutes, 5 minutes in between, build, and then move. We had this right here where we were timing. We used to time the warm-up. So you would say, we're going to start here. We're going to do, it'd be kind of like you'd say, it's going to be like an EMOM for this warm-up, this whatever it is, or we're going to set like a 5-minute clock for the warm-up. Well, I wrote down because it's terrible handwriting, don't time the prep, allow flexibility for timing adjustments. So, and then this was the square, this was the floor. So what if we do this here? What if we do this here? What if we do this here? And this one's really cool because this one shows long, medium, short. So long would be our barbell day, absolute strength day. Long means longer strength portion because we knew we wanted to just hyper focus on strength. Mm-hmm. Medium, dumbbell, kettlebell, power output. Looks like sports practice. Think basketball practice. Short was static body weight strength. This was the original.
I remember that whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's names that we had. We had gain, grind, power, sustain, persist, grit, stability, vitality, catalyst.
I remember just getting on thesaurus.com.
Just looking at words.
And writing them on the board.
Can we also just take a second to appreciate that at one time when we would lead class, we would yell.
Didn't have microphones.
We didn't have microphones. I don't know how we did that, to be honest.
And it was a big deal when we implemented the microphone.
Yeah.
If you all remember, after Charlotte, when we went to Charlotte, we did not have microphones.
Really?
We did not have microphones.
At that point?
And when we went to Charlotte,
that's crazy.
When we went to Charlotte, I remember talking to you all. The first time you and I went to Charlotte, we came back and we were talking to you, and we said, yeah, a couple of the gyms used microphones. It was kind of weird. This gym didn't use you all know who I'm referencing. This gym didn't use microphones, and we loved that energy. They had good music, and they still yelled, and we loved that energy that they brought. I said, we will never use microphones here.
I do remember
We will
that.
never use microphones.
So when did we implement the microphone?
We took the staff trip. We went to Barry's.
And he used a microphone.
And he used a microphone, and it was legit. Used it the right way.
It's the way he used it. Mm-hmm.
And we came back, and we said, we got to get microphones.
Mm-hmm.
On that same note, at that time, that was maybe around when we implemented playlists. But at one time, we just put on
Pandora.
or just a random mix.
Like Lyft.
Yeah. We just look up somebody else's playlist.
Like Nike.
The most common one was Spotify's Beast Mode. And it's still a playlist today.
Yeah. But it was just completely
It was
random.
just random. Yeah.
And I can't imagine that now.
No.
So that's 21. And so 21 we're
21 was wild, apparently.
It was wild.
21
out
was
here.
wild. So we had the name change, Foundation Fitness. And then we three started constructing the concept of Build Power Grind. In June, I have text messages that I'd sent to you that said we needed to start building an avatar for who we serve. And I said, the only person's name that I'll name is someone that's on staff, but we said, are we catering towards these CrossFitters, or is our avatar, she wasn't a trainer at the time, Lacey York?
Mm-hmm.
It's Lacey Lowe. She was married, but I knew her as Lacey York. I don't know why. Lacey York.
She's still in my phone as Lacey York.
Lacey
Sorry,
York.
Lacey.
It's fine.
So that was like a text that sent. So you and I were discussing that, and most of my text messages that I've went through are with you because we were talking in person.
Mm-hmm.
In June 2021, the most tragic thing happened to our CrossFitters.
The most traumatic.
We stopped releasing workouts the night before. So used to, they could see, at one point they could see the workout 3 to 7 days in advance because we just dropped them all in there. And they could not see the workout until midnight.
And you would have thought the world ended.
It was tragic. It was tragic. So that was a little thing during that
And
time.
we were having these discussions. We were like, none of these gyms that we visited in any of these big cities,
In any capacity.
release their workouts ahead of time. None of them do. This is only a CrossFit thing. This is not necessary.
Yes.
Like, and we also had discussions of our members also just need to trust us.
Yeah, because, I mean, it was definitely an issue where people would cherry pick things.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was in their best interest. Like, we are fitness professionals. We're writing these workouts. They just need to trust us and come and do the workout.
Yes.
So that's what they're paying us for, ultimately, is for our expertise.
Yes.
Yes. June 2021, still there. Personal training was increasing. We had not started True Coach yet. That's actually where the screenshot that I have from you with time blocking, I told her that she's been time blocking since 2021 and probably before, but this was her schedule. Abby was working, this kind of spurred the text that I sent you. Was I counted your hours. You were working just as much as we were. I knew that, but I don't think I realized like the gravity of that, because you were still just a year in with us, and that just was your commitment. But I added up the hours. I mean, you were working 50, 60 hours just like us. It was hard.
We were
hard.
all
It was
working
hard.
full-time jobs and coming here before or after with a full load
Sometimes-
of clients.
And sometimes both. Sometimes we come in before, go to work, and then come back.
yes.
I was counting on, because I have a couple of these that you had sent me. There was one that you had like 20 hours on the floor, and then you had all your shop stuff, and I was like, wow, that's impressive.
It was a rough time, though. Like, looking back, I don't think I can go back to that.
It'd be so hard.
It'd be so hard.
So hard.
Yeah,
But at the
and-
time, it felt so normal.
it did.
It was just what we did. And we knew that we were building something special, so I think that's what helped
It
us
did.
wake up every day.
That's
we,
true.
we were pushing towards something.
because we had purpose.
Yes,
Yeah.
every day. So during December, at the end of that year, Aaron came to work out, trainer Aaron. And on the back end of that year in December, I actually have this text message that Abby sent on December 7th, 2021. She said, I sent you, I said, just a thought. We want to eliminate barbell in the move segment of workouts. So just saying that we didn't want to, have them conditioning with a barbell. Just saying, we had done heavy barbell stuff, felt like it was kind of stupid, and we were questioning the function of the clean and snatch. What's functional? And so that is when we eliminated snatch.
Praise be.
Look at all those text bubbles, though.
I know. Listen, you all might get this. I'll at least blur it out, but just know that this is like regular occurrence
Yeah, you
for
still do
Abby.
that.
I still do this. Like, I get on something and then her phone's just like bing, 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 bing. And then
I want to point out, I remember pushing you, Josh, for months. Can we please take the snatch out? Can we
I didn't want
please
to.
take the snatch out?
I didn't feel
I
good
think
about
you
it.
and I were definitely on board with it
I was not.
sooner than Josh was.
Yeah.
I was not. And that was tough. So that was these questionings of is this? And at the time as well, we had all those, the board that has all the names, but I said also looking for new words for sprint, grind, sustain.
Was that what it was? What's
Yeah, so the time domains were sprint, grind, and sustain. And then we're also going to eliminate recovery day, because I guess we had a recovery day. It was Thursdays.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then no one would show up on Thursday.
Correct. Exactly. It
Well,
says here
because-
that Rachel hated the word sprint, made it sound like a race, which we were trying to not have. people racing. So
Well, because when we finally decided on Build Power Grind, it was implemented as a class before we actually changed Foundation Fitness to Build Power
Yes.
Grind. So that's
Yeah.
what we were pushing towards with those names was,
it was the Build Power Grind class.
yeah.
Are you going to come to the Build Power Grind class? And whenever we,
Which sounds silly, like saying it now.
I don't, whatever we first did it, I remember in December, the last week of December, we had the idea. We were done with it. We knew that January we were going to do two huge things. We were going to drop Sugar Wad completely. Buy Sugar Wad, which is, for you all that don't know, Sugar Wad is an app that is a leaderboard where you put how fast you did your workout or how many rounds you did in your workout. It's a leaderboard for working
It's
out.
essentially like a workout score.
It's your score for the day. And at the same time, we're dropping Sugar Wad and we're starting Build Power Grind. The snatch is gone on these days. So, and 2021, we're implementing slowly little things, and we knew that this was going to be heavy. And so I'm pretty sure the last week or two of December, we had a couple of days where we were like, we're going to do this Build Power Grind class, and asked a couple people to come, like, come try this. And so 2022, we drop it. The whole year, we just did strong branding and positioning, which was just our thesis of we are a strength training facility that does the barbell well, uses the barbell well. And I think that during that time, we also were coming off of our foundation social fitness. It was still a thing, but we were kind of branding off of that and going into this like gritty strength. We were positioning against CrossFit and positioning against high rep cardio every day. Cardio junkie is what I'll say. I don't want to say the brand, but if you know what I'm talking about. And so we were showing you how to use the barbell well. We were doing heavy barbell. We're still doing heavy barbell. We were using the barbell the way that we felt like it should be used. So that whole year, we were just refining who we were and digging in. That year,
So we felt like
let me just finish this thought. That year, we had a ton of cancellations.
yeah.
All the CrossFitters left except maybe the 4 or 5 that are still here today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just going to say we felt like there was this spectrum. There was on one end, there was the high intensity, bang your head into the ground 100% every single day kind of CrossFit mindset that we had come from. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there was cardio junkie.
And there was no
where
middle,
There was no middle ground. And so
which is really
that's
where you need to be the majority of the time.
Yeah. And so we were trying to get into that middle ground.
Yes, for sure. And so as we built that out, we also had how will we know that they are improving? So that's where we came up with the concept of base week, base day. We had assessment week, or, we played with all those different names.
I think capacity week was one of them.
What was the other? Radix?
Yeah, what? Did you ever figure out what that was?
No.
I think that was one of my thesaurus digs.
Radix week.
It was just written somewhere.
Base day was almost Radix day, everybody.
Can you imagine?
They're like, what? I actually think that Radix was one of the names that I was like, what if the gym's name was Radix?
That's also the name of a popular dance convention.
That's why we didn't.
I think that's why we didn't.
Yeah. So we mentioned that Erin came to work out 2021. She joined, Lacey joined staff in 2022. I missed that. I floated the idea to you early 2022, and then she joined later in 2022. And Erin joined 23, which those two, Lacey was from
We knew each other prior.
And
to
then
coming here.
Aaron actually sent us an email that was like, hey, you all are like, seem like you're different. Was just wanting to see if I could get a phone call to learn about what you all do and all of that. And I explained it. And then her and Kyle came to the gym that night and loved it. I think that there was only like 2 other people in class. There was like 4 people in class.
I remember their first class because I was here. It was in the evening.
Were you leading the class?
I don't remember if I was leading. I was at the front desk though, and I remember talking to Kyle for the first time. It's crazy to think back on.
Yeah. Go ahead. We'll keep going. So that brings us up to 2023. And so we ended up changing our name in January 23 to Build Power Grind, and we got our trademark for 2020 for Build Power Grind in 2023. And I mean, really after 22 and those cancellations that we had, for the most part, it's been pretty smooth sailing because we were just pretty like hell bent on what we were doing and solid on that.
When we were just very protective of the culture that we had created at that point.
Because the people that were here left other places because of the cultures there. And so, yeah, I think that we'll get into another podcast, but just being extremely kind, being extremely professional, having standards.
And upholding to the values that we have.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And so just staying true to that. And then so 2023 to 2025, I think that that 2-year jump has, I mean, we built this wall. There's some people that I'll try to put in some pictures that show like before and after, but we built the wall. I remember the wall was something that we did right after Aaron actually joined the staff, and I sent a text to, I think, Kyle, or I was talking to Kyle and Rob and Rachel's granddad and you, and I was asking them, I said, can we do this on, I think it's like Thanksgiving break? Can we do this in like 3 days? And they were like, no. And I was like, let's do this in 3 days.
But we're going to do it in 3 days. Yeah.
And I just kept on telling Kyle, I remember I was like, we're just going to build a wall. Like, just come on Saturday, we're going to build a wall. Because I was just talking about this wall. And he was like, I'll be there, but I'm just not. And he gets here and he was like, we're doing way more than a wall. We're building 3 walls. There's like 4 doors. We're running electrical.
And then we had to paint.
We had to paint. It was a whole thing.
Is that when we painted the whole gym or just that wall?
I don't actually know when we painted the whole gym. I think that the gym was already black.
Okay.
I think in 22 we painted the gym black.
Okay, and then we just had to paint this wall.
Because we stood the wall up enough to get it good for Monday. That was the goal. And then we sprayed it, and then everyone came in. You were...
Yeah, I was leading the 5 a.m. class, and it was so funny because we didn't tell anybody that we were building a wall, and then they just came in and there was a wall, and they were like, the hell?
That's how they were whenever we painted the gym black. Like, they came in and they were like, what
What was funny
here?
about that was they couldn't actually put their finger on what was different. They were coming in and they were like, something is off in here. And I just don't know what it is. And like, I knew what it was and I wasn't going to say anything. So it was funny to watch them struggle. But
there was a lot of like little changes that we made, and they almost made it a joke. They're like, every time I come in here, I don't know what's going to be different. Yeah. But we were just trying to make the space better, and really happy with the space now. But yeah, basically after that 23 to 25, I mean, we've just continued to refine. I think that we have, in 22 was whenever we started doing our reviews, which was funny to look at because our reviews for our staff, we have like staff reviews that they do as they go through classes. And we used to just have like 10 things that they have to do. Now it's like 50 points of performance. And it's cool to see how we've developed that. But again, we were just refining what we were doing. This is Lacey's first review.
She did pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did great. She only had one thing off. And it's funny, the one thing we had off was you had to turn the music off during the brief. And so we don't really have a brief anymore. It all kind of flows. So
I
that's
also remember having that discussion of like eliminating the brief
yeah.
because we used to brief.
Mm-hmm. And we were just like, what if?
I'm trying to think what even started that.
I think it was market research. We were
Was
just
it?
like, how can, because we wanted to get more, we were trying to expand how much time they get to spend doing strength. So the lift. And so we were trying to take time from other places. So we were like, right now we're spending this 3 minutes on a brief. Can we just add that into the 9-minute warm up?
Just
And-
how can we be more efficient, essentially?
Yes. Because what was happening was we were giving the brief at the TV or whiteboard, and then we were going through the whole workout, and then we were having to stop along the way and retell. So then that's into the way that if you go here, then you know that's how the thing flows now. And so, yeah, I mean, we've just been refining what we do and very happy with where we are today. I think that kind of wraps up like the story of.
I think so. Yeah. It's been a journey.
It's been
For
a long
sure.
journey.